Today's lesson's going to follow along with the series that I'm doing on the use of values in your painting. And I will be showing you how to set up a notan and the importance of a notan in establishing the amount of light and dark that actually appears in your painting. I have set up a little quick explanation. Notan's a Japanese word. It means the balance of light and dark. So if we think of our paintings and how much value they have in them, take example for this. We've got simple square. Within that square, what we're going to do is the majority of this is light. We're going to use mostly light values within that design. This design here, we're going to switch and we're going to use those same sorts of shapes, but we're just going to change the size, the quantity of the amount of the dark masses. So what happens now is we have a painting that is, or a sketch that's predominantly dark. So the feeling between these two is very different, very lit. This one's very much more in the shadows. This is great for setting up notans. Nocturnes, your nighttime paintings, light values. You think of those really bright sunny days. You throw in too many dark values and that light sunny day doesn't feel that way. Of course, that again, it goes to the balance of you need something dark to make something else feel light. This is the extremes. Dark does not mean it needs to be black. Light does not mean it has to be white. So you have to think of it in terms of your own photograph and your own design. So what I have is a sketch that I've done of these two boats from Brooklyn Boatyard in Maine. Top one right here shows you a value sketch that I have done. Okay, now the value sketch that I did was just based on 6 values from light to dark. Okay, so I have 3 light values and I have 3 dark values. Using that in a pencil sketch, and I used my graphite pencil. I've shown you that before in previous little films. So we can go in here, any area that's super dark. I use this as my starting point. I want to establish what attracted me was this light that was streaming right across the 2 boats. So what I want to do is make sure that I get in there and I have as much light. And look at this. I'm just going to come in. I'm just going to lighten that a little bit more. I want it to look a little bit more like that there than that. I want there to be a higher contrast there. So I'm going to just check this out. Some of these little incidentals, I drew them in, but you really should be focusing on big masses and shapes, not fiddly little details. The other thing I wanted is I wanted the peak of this to be a little bit more lit than it is here, so that this here was attracting more light. Once you have your value sketch done, that's the point at which you can say how light or dark do I want my notan masses to be. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get rid of a lot of those details. So for instance, this one here, I've already explained I want that light. So if I want that shaft of light to be like really important, what I want to do is I want to come in and I'm going to be looking at anything. I'm going to pretty much stick with these 3 dark ones. I might cross over to this area here. So for instance, this is all dark. And I'm going to switch and I'm going to do this in a marker so that you can see it better. Okay, I'm going to come in and I am going to just shade this right in. This is dark, dark. Okay, I'm going to have this whole area back here dark. This is going to be dark. A bit of, okay, I see this edge in here, it's going to be dark. But if I look up here and I look here, these are all darker values. They fall here. So guess what? That's going to get just covered right in. I see a little bit of light falling in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw these guys in. I'm going to say, okay, so that's a shadow underneath. This is in the shadows here. That's falling right in that bridge right there. A little bit of lights there. Got more dark here. I got this dark area. Let me just stick that in right away. This is dark, a little dark here. Okay, and I really want that to feel like light's running across it, so I'm just gonna fill that right in. Gonna come over here. Okay, and this is where I see this lovely curve on the boat where the shadow is, which connects with the ground. I already reminded myself I want that to stay lit. This is really attracting an awful lot of light. These values are all light. I'm going to leave this alone. I am going to take, and of course this would make sense, it's going to be dark because it is in fact not getting much light. It's also a darker piece of wood. Fill this in. My rope is there. Okay, my rope is going to kind of disappear, but I'll just go around it so you can see. Okay, this back here, if I squint my eyes and I look, I can see areas that are lit and areas that are dark. So I'm just going to do just a couple like that. A lot of light there, more dark right here. And actually there's a lot of dark underneath there. A little bit of a dark edge there. Don't want to get too much detail. This dark, got to come in, come right around that. I have a couple little decisions to make. I see this lovely little shadow here, but I don't really want to make that shadow too dark because this shadow here is going to wind up being a lighter value shadow, not a darker value. So now I look and I see, is there anything else I actually want to switch? I think I want to take and make this little interior part there a little bit darker. Bring this over. And that, and I'll check out and I'll just do this little bit of the inside right there. Some of these incidental small areas that are lit, I've tried to leave little pieces of them. When I'm drawing that small, sometimes you can't get all of it. Now I see this as problematic, okay? That is a dark value. I've done that really right on the edge. I'm going to take and I am going to fill that right in. So what I'm looking now is if you squint your eyes and you look at this, should be able to see the relative shapes and masses of the boats that are here, just enough so I know where I have my light and dark. I have to look and see, do I have a balance of light and dark? I do see my lovely light that's coming through here, so that's nice. Is it half and half? No, it's not half and half. I do have a little bit more dark in this one than I actually thought I was going to be doing, but you know, I really want that light to pop, so this will work. Now, when I say dark, it does not have, like I said, it doesn't have to be black, and it doesn't mean I have to paint it all in this. I can paint over this with darker values based on my value bar. Now, I did that a little bit quickly, but what I'm going to show you is these are some other ones that I was doing when I was just playing around, just to set up for a demo I was doing. And that was the finished demo that showed the way my painting looks just by establishing all those dark areas against the light areas. So now when I do my color choices over here, I will base them on which colors I'm going to choose by a darker value and which colors I'm going to choose by a lighter value. And that'll be another video. Thanks again, and hope you're enjoying the series on values. And look up Notans. There's a lot of information out there on the web. There's some great examples. And if you think of that yin and yang, and you think of the balance of light and dark, and then shaking that up so you don't have half dark and half light. Think in terms of, do you want your painting to be lit, or do you want your painting to be in the shadows? Thanks again.